The time is 4 o'clock. Good afternoon and welcome to the news from around the world on Sea Solid Radio. I am Joy Akin Olami Goke. First, the major headlines. Cholera outbreak and CDC urges state governments to strengthen WASH. And on the foreign scene, Greece fires. Foreign team join batters on Evia Island. And Hong Kong leaders say city set to adopt China's anti-sanctions law. And on the world of sport, Roma agreed to sign Chelsea's Tammy Abraham for €34 million. And moving on to the news in details. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and CDC says there is an urgent need for states to strengthen water, sanitation, and hygiene WASH following the outbreak of cholera in the country. The NCDC Director General, Dr. Chikwe Iyekwazu, said this in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja. Iyekwazu noted that cholera had been exacerbated by poor access to clean water, open defecation, poor sanitation, and hygiene. According to him, between January and August 31st, 425 suspected cases of cholera, with 311 confirmed cases and 816 deaths have been reported from 22 states and the FCT. He said a long term solution for cholera controls lies in access to safe drinking water, maintenance of poor sanitation, and hygiene. According to reports, cholera is a waterborne disease characterized by sudden onset of profuse watery diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and weakness, which can lead to sudden death as a result of dehydration if not managed on time. Most infected people may only show mild symptoms or have no symptoms at all. The time between an infection and the appearance of symptoms of the disease is 2 hours to 5 days. The disease is easily treatable if detected early. Most infected people can be treated successfully through prompt administration of oral rehydration solution (ORS) to replace lost fluids and electrolytes. And the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has inaugurated welfare flight for troops of Operation Hadin Kai, who are proceeding on a pass to and fro the theater of operation. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Owachiko, in a statement to say, today, said the inaugural flight was part of COA's effort to cater for the welfare of troops and boost their morale. While performing the symbolic ceremony at the Nigerian Air Force Base Maiduguri on Monday, Yahya said that troops' welfare was one of his cardinal focus for the Nigerian Army. He said it was in that regard that the initiative was birthed in order to ease the movement of the personnel of OPHK and was aimed at addressing problems such as distance and other associated challenges, while proceeding on paths to see their families and loved ones. The COAS said the ongoing joint operations in the theater had further strengthened the synergy between the services and other security agencies. With the opportunities existing in agriculture and technology in Nigeria and Vietnam, both countries will benefit from effective collaboration in these sectors and thereby deepen their friendship relationship. Professor Osibajo made this assertion on Monday at the presidential villa during a courtesy visit by the ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam to Nigeria, Luong Quay. The vice president also noted that other areas of collaboration between Nigeria and Vietnam would be in the interaction of young people actively engaged within the technology space in both countries. Professor Simbajo further stated that there was plenty room for cooperation, and one of such ways is being effective in establishing relationships and ensuring the relationships endure if both countries are able to structure the binational commission and then also some of the economic collaboration through agriculture and technology. The vice president thanked the Vietnam's government for the kind donation of medical supplies comprising of droplet resistant and antibacterial fabric mask, medical face mask, and real-time reverse transcriptase RT-PCR diagnostic panel for SARS-CoV-2 to the Nigerian mission in Hanoi, Vietnam, in addition to the donation of 100,000 high quality four fly antibacterial medical face mask by Vietnam's pharmaceutical company known as ANHTU Pharmaceutical and Medical Equipment Investment Joint Stock Company PSD Group. You are still listening to the news from around the world on T Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sport news. Do remember to download our app T Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T Solid Radio TV. And moving on to the foreign scene, firefighters from several European countries are helping Greek teams on the island of Evia to contain wildfires ranging near a major town. Water bombing helicopters are dousing the flames near Istia at the island northern tip, Ukraine. Romania and Serbia sent help to the fire zone. And thousands of people have been evacuated from villages in Greece, which is also getting firefighting help from some other EU countries, Switzerland and the United Kingdom. And more than 850 firefighters have been assisted by more than a dozen helicopters. Meanwhile, the current heat wave has pushed temperatures to 45 centigrade in Greece and parts of southern Italy. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has urged all citizens nationwide to join the army to fight the rebels in the northern region of Tigray. A statement from his office said now is the right time for all capable Ethiopians who are of age to join the defense forces, special forces, and militants and show your patriotism. I beg your pardon. Fighting has escalated since June when the rebels made up of the Tigray People's Liberation Front and its allies recaptured much of Tigray in an offensive. This came after the federal army had withdrawn and declared a unilateral humanitarian ceasefire. The TPLF has been designated a terrorist organization by the government, but the group says it is the legitimate regional government of Tigray. And China's anti-sanctions law will be implemented in some form in Hong Kong, the city's leader confirmed today, a move that will add fresh regulatory pressure on international companies in the finance hub. Beijing's rubber stamp legislature passed the law in June in response to Western penalties that were imposed following crackdowns in Hong Kong and Xinjiang. Its powers include denying visas, deportation, or seizing assets of those who formulate or comply with sanctions against Chinese businesses or officials. Foreign companies can be sued in Chinese court for applying sanctions, and the law can also be wielded against family members. Meanwhile, rumors that China was planning to extend the law to Hong Kong have swirled for days ahead of next week's meeting of the Chinese legislature after state media said some unidentified new measures were being planned for Hong Kong and Macau. And Syrian President Bashar al-Assad issued a decree today approving a new cabinet headed by Hussein Anas following a May election that secured Assad's grip on power in the war-torn country. The new 29-minister government, announced less than 2 weeks since Assad tasked Anas with forming it, is little change from its predecessor. Those at the head of the key defense, foreign affairs, interior, and finance ministry remains unchanged. However, new names were appointed to lead the ministries of information, social affairs, and domestic trade and consumer protection. The reshuffle weeks after Azar took the oath of office for a fourth 7 year term is required by the Syrian constitution, which stipulates that a cabinet term ends with that of the president. And on the world of sports, Liverpool will be without Andy Robertson for the opening weeks of the Premier League season. But manager Jurgen Klopp believes the Scotland captain got lucky after initial fears his ankle injury could have been much worse. Robertson had to be helped off the pitch in Sunday's friendly against Atletico Bilbao after his ankle twisted as he blocked a cross. Robertson is remaining unbit despite being pictured outside the Liverpool hospital on Monday with his foot in a protective boot. And Robertson is expected to miss clashes with Norwich, Burnley, and Chelsea in the Premier League and is out for Scotland's World Cup qualifiers against Denmark, Moldova, and Austria next month. And with that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the major headlines. Cholera outbreak and CDC urges state governments to strengthen WASH. And on the foreign scene, Grace fires, foreign team join battles on Evia Island. Hong Kong leaders say city set to adopt China's anti-sanctions law. And on the world of sports, Roma agreed to sign Chelsea's Tammy Abraham for €34 million. Ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID-19, as recommended by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Do remember to download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled and edited by Olorunishola Mary Omolafe. I am Joy Aki Olamigoke. Good afternoon and many thanks for listening.
Hey, baby, it's your baby.